It's April 5th, and hello, how are you? Just wanted to do something different and share my process that maybe it can help someone. I've learned from the past that uh, through healing or getting better or facing trial and tribulations or just going through transition or trying to get healthier or whatever that I have been through, I know uh, that when I help someone else or give someone else hope, I get hope. And so I want to share my process um, with someone, and maybe it could help someone. And to begin, uh, what I'm learning in school is that there's three parts to ourselves. One is we have the actual self. The actual self is the self you believe who you are. Then you have the ideal self, which represents your hopes and wishes, and you have the ought self, and ought self represents your duties and obligation. We have those three parts, those three dynamics within ourselves, and they can clash or they go battle without, and they can cause a lot of problems internally, like depression, anxiety, feeling stuck, feeling trapped, guilt, and shame. And I've learned in the area when actual self contradicts with the ought self, that causes or idea self too, which causes who you wish to be, want to be, and when your actual self doesn't do those things or doesn't feel that way, can cause anxiety and depression. Because in reality, who you are in the moment, and you're not able to reach your goals or be who you want to be, you feel you have feelings of embarrassment or shame. And for the past year, I've been going through that a lot. There's certain things that's been happening into my life without my permission, external things, and I've been basing my self worth on those things, and my existence, how I feel about myself, and mainly in the area of relationships. When my relationship had not been going well, the person that has my heart has been in a self-destructive phase of their life, and and due to that, the way I've been handling it and responding to it, I became self-destructive. uh, Thank God I survived that, and I've been looking for ways to not be self-destructive. And one of the ways that I have been working on and been doing not to be self-destructive is embracing my actual self, separating my actual self, who I am, away from the situation what that person's in doing, and also been separating myself emotionally from society's ideas and how everybody think I should be and feel I should be or do I should do. Uh, Living up to other people's expectations, even though I might agree with them and what they are saying is true and what they're saying is healthy. But in reality, there's something in me, some internal force that prevents me from taking everyone's suggestions or feeling or believing what everybody's saying. In the midst of that, because of that, I would get extremely depressed and feel very tormented and sad and go into an isolation and feel very alone. And that doesn't work. So I decided to just really focus on my actual self, who I am, and just me embrace that, me appreciate who I am, and encourage myself, and not seek approval or not worry about. Even my goals and wishes, I kind of lessen them out. My goal today is, my ideal self is just to be able to, one thing, be free to make a choice, whatever that choice is, that it agrees with my actual self. you know, and not base my choices on what everybody else thinks I should be or feel. Uh, and so that seems to be working for me today. My actual self does feel extremely sad. I am going through sadness because I would like certain things to change. Um, I've been through many self-help groups, many, much therapy. I've studied. I've tried to find that ultimate answer of why I keep, uh, do, why do I have such a hard time in an area when it comes to relationships, and why does I have a difficult time of letting something that is unhealthy for me go. Why? And never seem to fully find the answer. I even go to the great lengths spiritually and praying and meditating with God and building relationship with God and literally trying to keep my mind focused on what God wants me to do. And even with all that, I still end up back to the place where it's very difficult for me to let go of someone that the person, the man in my, just say it, the man in my life go when he's on his self-destructive path. I do good for a couple days, but after that, back to square one. I always end up back into caring for them, helping them, having hope in them. And it's just a constant back and back. I even read a lot of people's stories that have a similar experience for me, and it's very sad when I read their stories. And then knowing that I'm like them. So it's just, to be honest with you, it's just a one day at a time situation. People that have similar experiences as me, we really can't be in tomorrow. And we really can't be in the past. When I get stuck in the past, the guilt and shame sets in and a sense of failure. When I look to the future, it gives me an instant inspiration, but also gives me a sense of fear, um, because due to my past experiences, I end up not believing in myself, because I keep making the same mistake over and over again. So that's why it's important for me to stay in the moment, open my eyes and be like, you know what, okay, I'm going to separate myself from what's going on the outside of me and just embrace my actual self. My actual self is worthy. My actual self is beautiful. I'm a good person. Um, and make a choice today to be happy with me for what decisions I made. Just keep it real simple like that. Let go of all the rules and regulations. Let go of, oh, I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing that right. I'm not pleasing people. I'm not, doing what I gotta let all that go, because when I don't do that, I end up in more guilt and shame, and it's just never ending self-defeating behavior. You know, it's always everybody's number one question for me when the person I'm trying to let go leaves. Their number one question is, well, what happened when he comes back? What you're going to do? In the past, I always would say, this is what I'm going to do. Boom, 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 boom. And then when they come back, I don't do any of it. I end up feeling guilt and shame. And I end up feeling embarrassed. And that keeps me trapped. And I end up having my made prison in here. And then the person that I took back, it's good for a couple days or a couple weeks, a month, and they go back being self-destructive. And I'm back. It's a vicious, vicious, vicious cycle. So I know now that does not work. When someone asks me the question, what am I going to do? I say, I do not know what I'm going to do right now. All I know is what I can do today. Today is to focus on myself, to appreciate myself, to be easy on myself, to embrace my actual self, to allow God to embrace me today as I am, just as I am, as imperfect as I am, unstable as I am, unsure as I am, my actual self, unsure. I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And I don't need to be embarrassed about that. I don't need to be ashamed about that because I'm just a person. I'm a person trying to survive my ways, survive the way my um, brain has been pre-wired. My emotions have been pre-wired ever since, childhood. I'm 50 years old, so I have a lot of experiences. I have a long past, and behaviors and attitudes and ways have been developed and created. I can't fight all that at once, so I have to keep it simple. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to do today. I was even scared doing this video because I was like, oh, my first thought said, what happened tomorrow or next week? I do this hope video or trying to help someone, and then I end up either being self-destructive to myself in 2 weeks from now because I couldn't cope with reality, or I couldn't cope or handle the situation that I was afraid to deal with. I can't even do that because all I got to do is focus on today, make a difference today. I was always told when in my search and building my relationship to God that the things that we go through, the things that I go through, my trials and tribulations or hardships, my extreme emotionally relationship problem, I go through them so I can be helpful to others. So I can use my experience, strength, and hope to help someone, like reaching out a hand to them and while they're in their hole. And so hopefully, if that's the case, I'd be able to do that. When I'm in my mode of emotional isolation, I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but I really don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to reach out to anyone. And I don't know. People say it's isolation. People say it's not asking for help. People say you're being stubborn or selfish, or, you're hurting yourself. You're being self-destructive. I don't know if that's true for me. It might seem like that on the outside, that's what I'm doing, but on the inside, what it feels like when I don't want to reach out to anyone, I'm just in a mode of, what's going on with me is I don't really understand what's going on with me. I don't want to talk to anybody because I feel like no one can give me the answer that I'm searching for. And all I want is an answer. I want an answer and I want freedom. I want the solution. And I just have this belief that no one can give that to me um, in the moment because I've done it so much. I've reached out to so many people, therapy and self-help groups, and there's never been a real answer or a real solution. And even when I do find one in the moment, there always comes a time I'm back in the same place. So I really hope this technique of embracing my actual self, I really hope it's the moment I even connect my actual self with God. Uh, it's a sense of humility, um, no should or coulds or woulds, just giving my actual self to God, my state of I won't say hopelessness, but it's just a pure state of powerlessness, a state of I don't really know what to do. I'm tired, and yes, I would love to do what everybody, go to church, go here, go to stuff, but I'm in this state of I don't know. The state of I don't know. I really don't. And some people say, oh, you do know, you just don't want to accept it, you're in denial. And I really don't know if that's true or not either. So staying in the state, I don't know, is not such a bad place to be if you're in a safe environment. And I'm in a safe environment, and that's my responsibility to make sure I'm in a safe environment. When I mean a safe environment mentally, is me not being self-destructive. One of my ways of being self-destructive is drinking and drugging, which I use as a coping mechanism when I don't want to feel. Um, when I don't want to feel and I don't want to go through the withdrawal symptoms of letting go. The withdrawal symptoms of letting go for me are real. I get very nauseous. I get anxiety. I feel like I get anxiety attacks. I feel like something is caving in on me, like pushing me into this tight space. Um, I have to literally actually get into, hold my stomach when I go through withdrawals. Some people, I've learned that separation, anxiety, abandonment issues, or whatever. Did a lot of studying, but it's no joke. I do go through withdrawal system. So, because I'm aware of that, awareness is very good. I have to make sure I'm in a safe environment. My area, which is my room. So, my aura, my music, the meditation music, nature is all safe for me, so I can withdraw from the person that I emotionally became dependent on, that I emotionally had hopes for, that I emotionally had dreams, that I emotionally got connected to with a lot of beautiful, good memories, the laughter, the smiles, the skin, the their presence. I became so emotionally connected to that. And then when they leave and they go away and I don't have that anymore, um, the black hole comes in. You know what I mean? The non existence comes in, and I have to go through this withdrawal system. I'm not having that. Some people might say that's the void. I've never been able to relate to that, understanding that. Only thing I know is now that I'm trying to fill that up with me, my actual self, replace my actual self with all that emotional connection that I came to with that person. Whew, it's not easy. People be like, oh, why you want to drink, why you want to drug, or why you want to be self-destructive, why you put yourself through all that. It's easy to say and done when you're on the outside of it, looking at someone that's going through it. But when you're actually going through that whole process of letting go, and you're going through that whole emotional trauma and the guilt and shame, the way everybody's looking at you, the way everybody's seeing you, ah, it is not good spiritually. It is not. Spiritually, mentally, and physically, is not good. The brain is very powerful. It's made up of emotions and feelings and thoughts and attitudes and behaviors. It's just not a really good place to be in. So, I am type of person and I'm very understanding and very empathetic, not because I should be, but because I can relate. I can relate. I can relate to that feeling of giving someone another chance or trying to help someone that doesn't want to help themselves, and the agony of them keep doing the same thing over and over and over. And I can just imagine, because some people feel that way about me. When I don't let go, I can just imagine what my children feel like or my friends and families feel like when dealing with a man that's very self-destructive. If they feel that way about me, I can imagine how I feel that way. The way they feel that about me, that's how I feel about myself. And that's why it's not such a good place. The way people are looking at me is the way I'm looking at myself. My ideal self and my ought self is doing that to me. So that's why it's so important for me to separate. I can't survive that. I'm mentally. I really have to allow myself to be me, to live and let live. and just focus on not being self-destructive myself, because this too shall pass. Do you know what I mean? I've been in enough relationships. I have a resume that I did get through those ones. I have a resume that I've survived many things. So my actual self, I kind of have to, um, you know, just embrace and appreciate me just the way I am, who I am, with all my faults and my imperfections, and mind my own business the way other people think of me. And a lot of people do have, good intentions for me, and I do have a lot of people that care about me, and I appreciate them. And then on the other hand, I feel bad that I'm putting them through that too. But I cannot feel bad of what I'm putting other people through in this moment, and not because I don't care, but because it's a way it will cause me to be self-destructive, because I'll start feeling embarrassed, and I'll feel guilty, and I feel shameful. So I'm not just disregarding how they think and feel. I'm doing it because I end up being self-destructive. So whew, it is not an easy process, especially now. We got all this shut-in thing from the coronavirus, and a lot of us, everybody's got to be indoors, and uh, some of us might not have our significant other or friends or anyone to comfort us or get us through, or any company at all, and we got to sit here and no company, and we got to go through the withdrawal. I don't know if I'm going through that now. I'm going through withdrawal of a relationship during this shut-in. I can't go dancing, I can't go to meetings, I can't have that social comfort, and it's not easy. It's a good thing, because maybe I can go through my separation anxiety and withdrawals the right way. In the past, I would always dissociate or seek out external things to go through my withdrawals. So, shut in is a good thing. I hope I get better with this. I'm extremely grateful that I do have hope, and that I'm embracing my actual self. Um, I've been having a problem sharing with my friends and people, because I'm so afraid that I'm going to go back or do the same thing over and over and over again. I'm afraid what people think. Ooh, Lord. Afraid what God thinks, afraid what people think. If you only knew, every day just focused on what other people thinks and says and do is just not a good place to be. So, you know, uh, but anyway, all is going to be well. And I really hope that my message about embracing my actual self, you embracing your actual self today, allowing yourself to be just where you are. I do believe that God meets us actually where we are, not where society wants us to be, not where He wants us to be. He meets us where we are, whether it's in desperation, whether it's in our self-made prisons, mental prison, emotional prison. He meets us where we are. I believe what I found out with my relationship with God, why He meets us where we are, because He understands and knows how powerless we are. He knows how powerless I am, because He knows every inch of me. He's been with me since the day I was born. He's watched my journey. He knows my faults. He knows my weaknesses. He knows my strengths. He created me. So why wouldn't He meet me where I am? God is all powerful. He is everything. I don't need to be ashamed or embarrassed of where I'm at. If God's not judging me right now, because He knows my weaknesses. He knows my heart. He knows how I love someone. He knows how I care. He knows I wear my heart on the sleeve. Why would He reject me? He if I make prayers and I do prayers for God and I ask for forgiveness, why wouldn't he meet me? And Jesus came down when Jesus was here on this earth and he was doing his ministries. He wasn't judging or, you know what I mean? He was understanding and empathetic. He knew how powerful uh, evil was. He knew how powerful things were, just like I know God understands how powerful the disease of addiction is and how powerful, our shortcomings and defects can be inside of us. So, so I'm so grateful for that to God, my understanding. And I'm just so thankful that he meets me for where I'm at in this exact actual place, my actual self. If only I can just stay here and now, I have freedom. I have peace. I'm going to be okay. It's when I step out of that and I worry about what people think that I don't have peace and I don't have serenity. I can't do anything about the love of my life being self-destructive. I can't even save him. I can't fix him. I can't change him. I can't change his choices. And yes, it hurts. But I can't look at it in the way I was looking at it before. Oh, he's abandoning me. He's doing this to me. He's doing that to me. No, he's doing all that to himself. When I was thinking that way, that's what was making me self-destructive. Because that brought on guilt and shame. I can't be that way no more. My significant others making these self-destructive choices have nothing to do with me. There's nothing to do with me. And I say, and I rest in this place with the Lord, this actual place. I allow my actual self to rest with the Lord and not with myself and the other. I stay close to the Lord spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And I will get through this. And it's not easy, but it's worth it. It's a solution. And it's a lot better than drinking. It's a lot better than using drugs. Is a lot better than running to more sicker people, getting myself in more, attracting myself to a more sicker person, which I have a tendency to do. I'll seek out another, person for companionship and back in square one, attracting myself to someone that has not my best interest at heart. I do that. So I guess what's really going on is I'm ready. I'm ready to heal. I'm ready. I finally, after all these years and all the self-help groups and all the therapy and all the meetings and all the steps, I finally got to this place where I am ready to just be my actual self with God and allow God to pick me up and carry me like the footprints of my actual self. Ooh. I feel a sense of peace. I feel a sense of connection. I don't need to be embarrassed or ashamed that it took me so long. And I'm so grateful. I'm excited I'm excited about my journey. And this is what healing is about. This is how you know if you're coming to a healing place, in my opinion. So God bless, and I hope my message has helped someone. If anyone today is going through something similar, you feel lost, you feel confused, you feel embarrassed, you feel ashamed, or you feel like you do not have the answers to your questions spiritually or emotionally, or if you just don't feel like you're good enough, you're unworthy, if you're comparing yourself to others, whatever you're feeling in that moment, if you just allow all that to stop and just allow your actual self, who you are is everything. All your experiences is who you are. We allow that to be with the Lord and give that to him. You're going to be okay because God is powerful. He is wonderful. All glory goes to him. And I'm so grateful for that. Even when my ego tries to get in the way, and I surrender that to him too. So praise the Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.